You did everything right. You found someone kind. You built a life together. No cheating, no big blow-ups, nothing you could point to and say, that's the problem. And it still feels hollow, unstable, like it could quietly fall apart and you wouldn't even be able to explain why. Here's the uncomfortable truth. That's not bad luck. It's not the wrong person. 2,000 years ago, Aristotle wrote about exactly why bonds like this fail. He described 3 levels of connection. Most couples live their entire relationship on the first 2, but there's a 3rd level, the one that actually survives. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one you're standing on. Level 1. Let's start at the bottom. We're calling this one the transaction bond, what Aristotle called a friendship of utility. So what does that look like? Between 2 people who are together, dating, living with each other, married. It looks like a relationship that runs smoothly, really smoothly. Rent split evenly, the chore chart is dialed in. One of you handles the finances, the other handles the social calendar, and the whole machine just works. You're a good team, efficient, low friction. It also looks like you're staying together because separating would be a nightmare. The shared lease, the custody schedule, the mutual friend group you'd both lose. Not because you're unhappy, just because leaving costs more than staying does. And sometimes it looks like a relationship where the primary language spoken all day is logistics. Did you pay the electric bill? Can you grab the kids at 4? Functional, coordinated, and oddly quiet underneath. Sound familiar? Here's why this feels like real love. It's stable. It's not chaotic. Nobody's slamming doors. On paper, this looks like a relationship that's working, because by most external measures, it is. But Aristotle's point still holds. A bond built on usefulness is only as strong as the usefulness itself. You're not attached to them. You're attached to the role they play in your life. And roles change. People stop needing what they used to need. Careers shift. Kids grow up. The logistics that used to bind 2 people together quietly resolve themselves. And when that happens, a relationship running purely on this level doesn't have anything left underneath to catch it. This kind of love is real. It's just not built to survive the day it stops being convenient. The next level is what happens when 2 people skip the logistics entirely and build the whole relationship on how good it feels to be together. Level 2. This is the chemistry bond, what Aristotle called a relationship of pleasure. And honestly, this is the level almost everyone mistakes for true love. It's the couple whose entire identity is the fun they have together. The trips, the concerts, the inside jokes nobody else gets. It's chemistry so strong it feels like proof, a magnetic pull toward each other that nobody had to manufacture. It's a relationship built largely on how someone makes you feel, desired, alive, chosen, more than who they actually are when none of that's on the table. Modern dating culture is basically engineered around this level. Swiping is a chemistry optimization machine. The spark gets treated as the whole point of the search. If it's there, it's meant to be. If it fades, something must be wrong. And I get why. This feels like the realest love there is. It's euphoric. It's effortless. Nobody has to convince you to want this person. You just do, immediately, without trying. But here's Aristotle's warning, still holding up 2,000 years later. Pleasure is conditional. It's tied to a feeling, and feelings move. Attraction fades. The inside jokes stop landing the way they used to, not because anything went wrong, just because that's what feelings do over time. And if the entire bond was built on that feeling, if that was the relationship, there's nothing left underneath it once the feeling dips. And at some point, it will. Chemistry feels like proof you found the one. It was never designed to hold that much weight on its own. So if usefulness isn't enough, and pleasure isn't enough, what's actually left? Level 3. This is the level almost nobody talks about. Aristotle called it a relationship of virtue. We're going to call it the character bond. Aristotle believed this was the rarest and highest form of connection. A bond between people who care about each other not for what they get and not for how it feels, but for who the other person is, specifically for their character, their integrity, their ongoing effort to become a genuinely good person. He argued this kind of friendship actually contains the other two inside it. Good friends usually are useful to each other, and being around them is usually enjoyable. But it doesn't collapse when the usefulness or the fun disappears, because that was never what it was standing on. And here's the part that matters most. He believed this kind of bond takes real time to build. You can't shortcut it. It requires really knowing someone, not the highlight reel, not the version of them optimized for a first date, but the actual person. Which is exactly why he said relationships like this are rare, and why most people build maybe a couple of them in an entire lifetime. This looks fundamentally different from the first two levels. It's loving someone for who they're becoming, not just who's convenient right now, not just who's fun right now, but who they're working to become, even when that costs you something. Wanting their growth, even when their growth is inconvenient for you. It's the ability to have a hard conversation about money, about a mistake, about a boundary that needs to be set, without the whole relationship's foundation shaking. The conflict doesn't threaten the bond, because the bond was never resting on the absence of conflict in the first place. And it's choosing the relationship on the genuinely hard days, not the exciting days, not the easy days, the flat, difficult, nothing special days. Choosing it because of who this person is at the core, independent of what they happen to be providing you in that exact moment. So how do you build this? Because love their character is a nice sentence, and a useless instruction unless we make it concrete. Here's what it looks like day to day. Number 1. Change the question you're quietly asking. Level 1 and Level 2 both run on some version of, what am I getting from this? Level 3 asks something different. Who is this person becoming, and am I helping that or getting in the way of it? That single shift changes everything. How you argue, what you prioritize, what you forgive. Number 2. Build shared values, not just shared effort. Talk about the kind of people you're each trying to become, not just who's cooking dinner tonight. Ethics, long-term identity, what you want your life to stand for, together. Calendars and chore charts aren't a priority. This is a different conversation entirely. Number 3. Run the friction test. Can you disagree with this person? Really disagree, disappoint them, fail in front of them, and still be on their side once it's over? Relationships running on the first two tend to treat conflict like a 5-alarm fire, something to avoid or smooth over fast. Level 3 treats conflict as proof the relationship can actually hold weight. And the most important one, number 4. Let usefulness and pleasure become byproducts, not the goal. This doesn't mean effort stops mattering or the fun disappears. Quite the opposite. In this level of a relationship, the fun tends to come back, and the teamwork tends to get easier. But it flows from the depth. It's not standing in for it anymore. This is the level almost no one is ever told exists. And once you see it, you can't really unsee it. In your own relationship, or in the ones around you. So let's go back to where we started. That hollow feeling. Good relationship, no obvious problem, and it still feels like something's missing. Here's the most important question you need to ask yourself. When the routine gets hard and the fun runs out, what's actually still there? If this changed how you see relationships, leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe for more videos to come.